I'm so happy you're here today for another deep dive into the teachings of A Course in Miracles. There's something important we need to talk about, something that might challenge everything you think you know about your life right now. And I say this with tremendous compassion because what we're exploring today isn't meant to dismiss your experience or invalidate what you're going through. It's actually meant to set you free. Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt absolutely real while you were in it? Maybe it was a nightmare where you were running from something, or a beautiful dream where you were somewhere you've always wanted to be. While you were asleep, that dream was your entire reality. The fear was real. The joy was real. The people in it seemed real. And then you woke up, and in an instant, all of it dissolved. It never actually happened. It was just a dream. Now, what if I told you that your waking life operates on a very similar principle? That what you're experiencing right now, with all its struggles and conflicts, all its moments of happiness and pain, is also a kind of dream? Not in a metaphorical sense, but in a very literal way. The Course teaches us something radical. We are dreaming, all of us, together, and the world we see with all its problems and all its supposed solutions is part of that dream. This might sound abstract, maybe even unsettling, but stay with me, because here's where it gets interesting. The Course doesn't just tell us we're dreaming and leave us there. It makes a crucial distinction. It tells us there are two kinds of dreams. There's the nightmare we've been having, the one where we're separate from each other, where we're guilty and afraid, where attack seems justified and defense seems necessary. That's the ego's dream, and most of us have been living in it our entire lives without realizing there's another option. But then there's what the Course calls the happy dream. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending everything is wonderful when it's not. The happy dream is a fundamental shift in how we perceive everything and everyone around us. It's still a dream, mind you. We're still not fully awake to reality as God created it. But it's a dream where forgiveness replaces attack, where we see each other differently, where peace becomes possible even while we're still in this world. And here's what makes this so relevant to your life right now, today, in whatever situation you're facing. You don't have to stay in the nightmare. You really don't. There's a gentle, gradual way to transform your experience, and it doesn't require you to suddenly become enlightened or to deny what you're going through. The Holy Spirit offers us this happy dream as a bridge, a transitional space between the hell we've made and the heaven we've never actually left. Today, we're exploring Chapter 18, Section 5 of the text, called The Happy Dream. We're going to look at what keeps us trapped in the nightmare, how forgiveness transforms the dream we're having, and why this happy dream is essential, not as our final destination, but as the gentle pathway home. Because the truth is, you can't jump from a nightmare directly into full awakening. You need this middle ground. You need this place where you can begin to see differently, feel differently, and experience the world as something other than a battleground. So, let's begin. Let's look honestly at the dream. We've been dreaming, and let's discover together how it can be transformed into something that actually brings us peace. Let's be honest about something. Most of us wake up every morning and step right back into a nightmare, but we call it normal life. We call it reality. We get dressed, we go to work, we interact with people, we solve problems, we defend ourselves, we try to get what we need. And underneath all of it, there's this constant hum of anxiety, this background noise of fear that never quite goes away. You know what I'm talking about. It's the feeling that something could go wrong at any moment, that someone might hurt you, that you might lose what you have, that you're not enough or you have too much to protect, or you did something wrong and eventually you'll have to pay for it. This is the ego's dream, and it has some very specific characteristics that keep us locked inside it. The first characteristic is guilt, not just the obvious guilt about things you've done, but a deeper, more pervasive sense that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. The ego tells you that you separated from God, that you destroyed your innocence, and now you deserve to suffer. And even if you don't consciously believe that, even if you've never thought those exact words, the guilt operates underneath everything you do. It drives your need to prove yourself, to be better, to accomplish more, to justify your existence. From this guilt comes fear. Because if you're guilty, then punishment must be coming. So you live defensively. You protect yourself. You see potential threats everywhere because the ego has convinced you that attack is real, that you're vulnerable, that other people can actually hurt you in meaningful ways. And this fear shapes how you see everyone around you. Some people become allies in your defense. Others become enemies to guard against. But nobody is truly innocent in this dream. Nobody is truly safe. And then there's separation. This might be the cruelest aspect of the nightmare. The ego's dream is fundamentally lonely. You're isolated inside your own mind, inside your own body, inside your own experience. Other people are separate from you. They have their own interests that might conflict with yours. They can harm you or help you, but either way, they're fundamentally other than you. You're alone in here, looking out at a world that doesn't really understand you and that you can't fully trust. Now here's the devastating part. We don't recognize this as a nightmare. We think this is just how life is. We think fear is realistic. We think guilt is appropriate. We think separation is a fact. The ego has done such a thorough job of constructing this dream that we can't imagine anything else. We've mistaken the nightmare for reality itself. And the cost of this? The cost is everything. It's your peace, your joy, your sense of connection, your ability to love without fear, your capacity to rest without anxiety. Every day you maintain this nightmare, you pay the price in exhaustion, in stress, in conflict, in suffering that feels like it will never end. But what if there's another way to dream? What if you don't have to keep paying this price? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. So if we're stuck in a nightmare, how do we get out? This is where the Course offers us something revolutionary. You don't try to fix the nightmare. You don't try to make the ego's dream better. You allow it to be transformed into something completely different. You allow the Holy Spirit to show you a different way to dream. Now, what makes a dream happy? It's not about everything going your way. It's not about getting what you want or avoiding what you don't want. A happy dream has one defining characteristic. Everyone in it is innocent, including you. When you look at another person and you see them as innocent, despite what they've done, despite how they've acted, despite the story the ego tells you about them, the dream begins to shift. When you look at yourself and recognize your own innocence, not because you've earned it, but because guilt was never true to begin with, something fundamental changes. This is where forgiveness comes in. And we need to be very clear about what forgiveness means in the Course, because it's not what the world teaches. The world says forgiveness is about being nice to people who wronged you, about letting go of resentment, about moving on. But the Course says something far more radical. It says there's nothing to forgive because nothing real happened. The attack you think you experienced, the harm you think was done to you, the sin you think someone committed, it all happened in a dream. And you don't forgive dreams, you wake up from them. So forgiveness, in the Course's terms, is the recognition that what you thought happened didn't actually happen. Not in reality, not in truth. It happened in the ego's nightmare, where attack seems possible and guilt seems real. But none of that has any effect on what you truly are. When you forgive, you're not being generous or magnanimous. You're simply seeing clearly. You're letting the Holy Spirit show you what's actually there instead of what the ego projected onto it. And here's what's beautiful about this. The Holy Spirit doesn't ask you to wake up all at once. He doesn't demand that you immediately see the complete unreality of everything you're experiencing. Instead, He works with you right where you are, inside the dream, and He gently changes how you see it. He takes the nightmare and transforms it into something peaceful. He shows you that the person you thought was your enemy is actually just as lost and afraid as you've been. He reveals that the situation you thought was threatening is actually an opportunity to choose differently. This is the bridge. Forgiveness is the bridge from the nightmare to the happy dream. Every time you choose to see someone's innocence instead of their guilt, you take a step across that bridge. Every time you release your need to attack or defend, you move closer to peace. Every time you allow the Holy Spirit to reinterpret what you're seeing, the dream becomes lighter, softer, more gentle. And the practical shift is this. You start seeing people differently, not because they've changed, but because you're looking with different eyes. The Holy Spirit's eyes, the eyes of love instead of fear. And when you see them as innocent, when you see them as whole, when you see them as they truly are, beyond the roles and masks and behaviors of the dream, something in you remembers what you truly are too. The happy dream isn't just about them. It's about you recognizing your own innocence reflected back in everyone you meet. Here's something the ego doesn't want you to know. The happy dream isn't your final destination. It's not the end of the journey. But it's absolutely essential because you can't go directly from a nightmare to full awakening. You just can't. The gap is too wide. The contrast is too extreme. And this is where the Holy Spirit's gentleness becomes so important. Think about it this way. If you've been living in terror, convinced that attack is real and separation is true, and suddenly someone told you to just wake up and realize none of it ever happened, what would you do? You'd resist. You'd fight it. Because the nightmare feels so real that the idea of it being completely unreal seems impossible, even threatening. Your entire identity is built on this dream. Your entire understanding of yourself and the world is constructed within it. To dissolve all of that in one instant would be overwhelming. So the Holy Spirit offers something different. He offers a gentle transition. He meets you in the nightmare and says, let's not try to jump straight to truth. Let's just make this dream a little kinder first. Let's transform how you're experiencing it. Let's replace fear with love, attack with forgiveness, separation with joining. And this becomes the happy dream, a dream where you're still not fully awake, but you're no longer suffering. A dream where peace is possible even though you're still perceiving a world. And this is crucial to understand. The happy dream is still a dream. You're still seeing forms and bodies. You're still experiencing time and space. You're still having interactions with people who seem separate from you. But now those interactions are peaceful. Now you see those people as innocent. Now you're not defending yourself against them or attacking them or trying to get something from them. You're simply joining with them in shared innocence, in shared purpose, in the recognition that whatever appears to be happening, beneath it all, you're still one. This is why the happy dream is called a gateway. It's the space between the nightmare and awakening. It's where you learn to let go gradually, gently, without force or fear. You let go of guilt and discover you're still whole. You let go of attack and discover you're still safe. You let go of separation and discover you were never alone. And with each letting go, the dream becomes lighter, less solid, less important. And then comes the final step, the one that might surprise you. Eventually, you have to let go of the happy dream too. You have to be willing to release even the happiness, even the peace, even the love you're experiencing within the dream, because all of it is still part of perception. All of it is still not quite real. The complete truth, the reality that God created, doesn't need dreams at all, not nightmares and not happy dreams either. But here's what makes this bearable. By the time you reach this point, you're ready. The happy dream has prepared you. It's shown you that you can let go of fear and survive. You can let go of guilt and still exist. You can let go of everything the ego told you was essential. And not only do you survive, you become more yourself. So when the time comes to let go of the dream entirely, to let go even of happiness in favor of the deep, unchanging peace of God, you're not afraid anymore. You're willing. You're ready to wake up completely. And that readiness, that willingness, is what the happy dream has been preparing you for all along. So here's where we are. You're in a dream right now. Maybe it's been a nightmare for a long time. Maybe you've had moments of peace, but they never seem to last. The invitation today is simple. You don't have to stay in the nightmare. There's a gentle way out, and it begins with one choice, the choice to see differently, to forgive, to allow the Holy Spirit to transform your perception from the inside. The happy dream is available to you right now. Not someday when you're more spiritual or more enlightened, or when you finally get your life together. Right now, in this moment, with whoever is in front of you, with whatever situation you're facing, you can choose to see their innocence instead of their guilt. You can choose to join instead of separate. You can choose love instead of fear. And every time you make that choice, the dream shifts. It becomes lighter. It becomes kinder. It becomes the bridge that will eventually carry you all the way home. Remember, you're not trying to fix the nightmare. You're allowing it to be transformed, and that transformation happens through forgiveness, through the willingness to see what the Holy Spirit sees instead of what the ego shows you. Trust this process. It's gentle, it's certain, and it will take you exactly where you need to go. Thank you so much for being here today, for diving deep into these teachings with me. If this resonated with you, if something shifted while you were listening, I'd be grateful if you'd click the like button. It helps more people find these teachings. And if you know someone who's struggling right now, someone who feels trapped in their own nightmare, please share this video with them. Sometimes we all need a reminder that there's another way to see. You can also support this channel with a super thanks. That's what allows me to keep these videos free for everyone, to keep sharing these teachings without any barriers. Your support makes this work possible, and I'm deeply grateful for it. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, practice seeing innocence, practice choosing the happy dream, and trust that you're being guided home. Thank you.